So the new semester is right around the corner, and since I just finished 3 years of university, I thought it would be the perfect time to share 10 tips and advice from my favorite library in the whole world. So I want to tell you guys a little story about what happened in, I think it was the first month of uni. I had a lot of free time, I felt like, which was strange to me because in high school we would have classes constantly. At uni we didn't really have that many classes. We only had like 10 maybe hours of seminars and lectures every week, and so I was feeling quite bored. And so I had my first meeting with my tutor, which is basically the person that kind of follows you throughout university. And we had this meeting with, I think it was 3 other students. He asked, how are you feeling about university? Are you stressed? Are you overwhelmed? What's going on? Like, how are your academics doing? And I basically said that I felt very bored. And the 3 other students and the tutor looked at me like, what are you talking about? I later learned that the reason I was feeling this way was because I wasn't doing any readings. Readings in high school versus readings in university are quite different things. In high school, you could get away with not doing them as long as you basically followed what was said in class. In uni, readings is the majority of your course. You're going to spend the majority of your time doing readings, learning them, understanding them. Although there are some exceptions like recommended readings and optional readings, readings are mostly not optional, and you need to do them to do well in your course and to even like follow along. Your professors will talk to you as if you've done already readings, so you better do them. And following on to this, I also wish I knew when starting uni that it takes time to develop your capabilities in reading readings. It's a totally new setup, it's a totally new structure, they use different words than you're used to, so you will need a period of training when it comes to understanding the building blocks, the language, and the setup of readings. And you will also need a period of experimentation when it comes to your own method of taking notes from and learning from readings. There's tons of different reading methods: reading and taking notes, highlighting while you read, putting pencil marks while you read, drawing, writing summaries after you read them. And you just need to take the time you need to figure out which system works for you. And that's going to take some time to get used to, so don't rush it. You will learn eventually, and just take that period of experimentation and learning and use it to your benefit. In uni, you choose your own modules every year, and this is the time for you to basically deep dive into the fields that you find really interesting and the fields you might want to potentially work in the future. However, you shouldn't just limit yourself to those few modules that interest you already, that you're super passionate about, and that you want to work in the future. In my second year, I chose 3 marketing modules and 1 different module. I ended up choosing something called the History and Evolution of China. I don't really know why we had this on our curriculum for a business degree, because it was basically about urbanism, history of contemporary China, and politics. Anyway, I took that module and I fell in love. I thought it was so interesting. The professor was so great. I learned so many new interesting things. And now I suddenly know a lot more about urban planning, about Chinese politics, about Chinese history that I can contribute to in conversations, or just, I can read about in my own free time because I find it really interesting. And so although I don't see myself working in China or working as a middleman between a Chinese firm and an English firm, for example, I still loved learning everything in that module, and I just kind of developed a new interest that I have on the side of my business and marketing interests, which is really fun. University is this great arena for learning so many things. I know in the US they have 2 years of just learning different materials and subjects. In the UK, however, you mainly focus on the direction that you're going to go into and the degree that you're doing, so you don't have those 2 years of learning different things. And it's such a shame to go through 3 years of uni and just learn things that you were already passionate about and you already kind of knew stuff about, and you're going to go in to work in for the rest of your life. So don't limit yourself to the modules that you already have a passion for and you're going to go into work in. Try also having 1 or 2 modules a year that could be of interest to you, that could be potentially fun to learn about. Uni isn't high school. I thought that when I entered uni, I could just do everything the way I did it in high school. And although, to some degree, you can, continue your study methods and continue your revision techniques and whatnot, uni is an entirely new ecosystem and just a way of doing things. The first exam I had at uni, oh my god, I literally word vomited for 2 hours onto a sheet of paper and handed it in. No introduction, no topic sentences. I don't think there was any structure altogether. And when I got the marks back, it was not good. I nearly failed that module. Academia is its own world. It's its own ecosystem. Everything is done in a very certain way. When you spend some time in the field of academia, when you spend some time at uni, you'll see that all the presentations, all the readings, all the textbooks, everyone and everything has this kind of set structure. And the more you spend time learning, reading, you'll kind of recognize the structure of things being done in a certain way, and you'll need to do it in the same kind of way. The way the university is run too is in a very bureaucratic way, and so hate or love have it. I've done both. You just kind of have to find a way through it. If you want to get through uni, or even more importantly, if you want to get good marks, you will need to learn the system of academia, understand it, and then play the game according to its rules. A presentation might not be as catchy or as entertaining when you structure it in the way it's done at university, but that's the way they do it, so you better follow the rules. Same goes with essays and reports. It might not be as entertaining to read, but you'll have to do it in the way that things are done, because that's just the ecosystem that you find yourself in. Not learning the language. A big part of studying in another country, if you're an international student going abroad for the entirety of your degree or just for an exchange, is learning the language, or at least immersing yourself in the language and picking up some things. And this brings us to today's sponsor, Speakly, a language learning app and website offering you everything you need to learn a new language. From new vocabulary to writing, speaking, and listening comprehension exercises, and even music recommendations in the new language. Learning a new language will never feel boring because there's so much to do and experience. So Speakly is really great for international students who are going to spend their degree in a country where the language spoken is not your native language. It's so helpful to use a language learning app while you're there, so you can immerse yourself more in conversations with locals and ask for a coffee in the language in the coffee shop. And Speakly is perfect for this because it teaches you words and sentences based on the relevance in real life situations, and you don't need more than your phone and the Speakly app to get started. And for those of you studying currently and you're going on an exchange to a country where you don't speak the language, learning at least a little bit of the language in preparation and while you're there is a big part of that going abroad experience. And Speakly can be a great tool to help you prep for your trip, and a great tool while you're there. Click the link below to try Speakly for free for 7 days and learn 2 new languages. And if you join Speakly's annual subscription, you also get a 60% discount. Don't give up on the language, although it's hard in the beginning. This is going to be a quick point of the video, but I wanted to say it either way because when I started uni, I felt really beaten down because I thought I, would be really prepared to study in English. But then I came to the UK and I started reading and I started learning from professors who spoke these absurd words, and I started literally having everything in English. I would have days where I didn't even speak my native language, and that would be really confusing for my head and also really tough on my brain. I would feel really confused, and constantly I would feel this need to speak in Norwegian. And the more time I spent in the language, the more time I attended these lectures, I read readings in English, the better it all became, and suddenly it felt like a natural extension of my life to just talk English constantly. But it takes a little period of getting used to. So don't get beaten down if you struggle in the beginning. I think everyone does, no matter how prepared you are, and especially if you're unprepared, you're going to struggle in the beginning. But know that literally everyone who's an international student does this. If you have international student friends, and I would recommend you getting some, because then you have some people who are in the same boat and who literally goes through exactly what you're going through. If you have those international friends, you know that you're not alone. You're all going through it, and it can be really tough. You will get through it, you will get better, and suddenly it'll feel really natural. So yeah, remind yourself for that. I look like the evil villain in a film. Anyway, don't skip Freshers Week or purposefully try to stay out of events in Freshers Week. I know, not everything is going to be your favorite. You're going to be uncomfortable in Freshers Week. I definitely was too. I don't think there's anyone who really wants to go to every single thing that happens in Freshers Week. I went to Zumba. There's going to be events where you're so tired that you're just going to be like, I don't want to go. Freshers Week is really all about being uncomfortable and trying to find friends when everyone is uncomfortable. Everyone's trying to find friends and everyone's trying to make their way through this new world, and that's exactly why you should join Freshers Week, because it's just such a good opportunity to meet people who are literally in the exact same position as you. The friend group that I ended up having throughout the whole of uni, I actually met at a picnic which I was so resentful to go to. I was literally having to force myself to go because I was like, first of all, I don't like chicken nuggets. We were going to get chicken nuggets, and I didn't really know these people, so I felt super uncomfortable and sitting down with them, chatting to them for 2 hours, but I did it anyway. The picnic ended up being really great, and that was the start of our relationship, and we're still really close friends. Obviously, you know your limits. Don't push yourself to do things that you're not comfortable with, but I think everyone kind of benefits from being a little bit outside their comfort zone, and especially in Freshers Week. Not taking initiative. The start of uni is the time to take initiative, and the reason for it is that everyone is so open to it. Kind of paradoxical thing, however, is that it's so hard to take initiative at the start of uni because you don't know anyone. You're suddenly put in this new position where everyone is new to you. Your house is new to you. Your uni is new to you. I came home from a long day. I think it was the second day of uni. My whole dorm building, like everyone who lived where I lived, had gone out to a pub. And no one had texted me, told me about it. No one had posted anything on the Facebook group chat. So I just kind of had to either stay in my room or text someone to ask if I could come. But I was alone in my dorm and I was feeling so like, oh, you know, what if they think I'm stupid or weird for asking to join? And also, like, how scary is it to go into a room, into a pub, everyone is there and you're the one person walking in alone? But hold myself together and I literally just sent the most innocent text, "You doing anything tonight?" And she ended up saying they were at the pub and that I should join, and I ended up joining, and it was super nice. And there's 3 things I want you to remember when you're thinking about taking initiative that I wish I knew. And the first thing is that no one cares. I was always thinking like people would think I was weird if I asked to go out with them. Honestly, stop thinking that. Nobody cares. Everyone is so caught up in their own stuff in Freshers Week, so nobody cares. Secondly, Freshers Week is such a good time to take that initiative because everyone is looking for new people. Everyone is open to finding new friends. Everyone is out there. Everyone's pushing themselves, and so it wouldn't be weird if you did it. And thirdly, everyone is in the same boat as you, so don't think you're alone when you have those feelings. Everyone's going to be alone once, or wanting to go out with some people, or wanting to meet some people, and they're going to be the ones who have to push themselves and ask these questions. So you're not alone. Everyone's going through the same things that you are, just maybe not in this moment, maybe tomorrow, or maybe the day before. Not planning. Also, how cool is this chair that I found myself? When I say not planning, I mean a lot of things. I mean not planning your monetary spending, aka budgeting, not planning your days and weeks, and making sure you attend all your lectures and making sure you know where to be at the right point. This is really difficult when you start uni because you're so used to high school literally making a schedule for you. In uni, you have to make your own schedule. Finally, it's planning out your life, because at uni, you kind of find your way through the system and then figure out, what are you going to do after? And that means, for example, choosing the right modules, aka modules that make sure you can study a master's in whatever you want to do, or go into certain work with experience from those modules, but also like getting the right marks to go to a certain master's, or taking a certain module so that you can take the extension of that module later. Oh my god, I was so stupid in first year. I didn't know that you could take prerequisites to do modules in the future. And then in second year, I was like, you know what? I think I want to do entrepreneurship in third year, but I couldn't take any of the entrepreneurship modules, which was 3 of the modules that I wanted to do because I hadn't chosen the prerequisite. Make sure to plan out ahead a little bit in your life. It's going to save you a lot of stress. I know it can be really hard. Try to make a system of it. You will get better over time, but just try to experiment a little bit, see what works for you in terms of planning out your budgets, planning out your days, and planning out your years. Because if you don't, you're going to struggle, not just with getting through uni, but also like getting to that point in life where you want to be after uni, and also getting through your months in terms of the money that you have available. Not being in balance. What often happens in uni is that it's so hard to control your own time, especially when there's so many factors pushing, like your professors and lecturers want you to do really great in uni and they push you to do all these extra reading. You also maybe have work on the side because you want work experience. Maybe you have an internship, maybe you have a part-time job. Then on the opposite side, kind of drawing you in their direction, is your friends, your societies that you're part of, pushing you to go in more like party and life and social direction. So your responsibility as an adult in uni is trying to find a balance between those two, and that can be quite difficult, I'm not gonna lie. I've been on both sides of the spectrum. I think in my first semester of uni I was definitely on that life, party, workout side of things. On the opposite side, you don't just want uni to be about academics and getting amazing marks and just studying, because uni is also this fun social experience that people talk about after they graduate as this time where they met their best friends and they had so much fun. So you want to include both, and that's the kind of difficulty of being at uni. So a good rule of thumb when you're going through your first semester, your first year, is to think of it as a scale and compare yourself, your current position, be really real with yourself. Where are you on that scale and where do you want to be? If you kind of want to be in the middle, or maybe you want to be a little bit more on the academic side, that's fine. But if you're too far on the studying and academic side, you need to push yourself further in. That's going to require you to make some tough decisions, like maybe being okay with, lesser marks in some subject. And on the opposite side, if you feel too far on that social side, you wanting to move further into the middle, that's going to give you some FOMO. That's the kind of decisions you have to take, which can be really, really challenging at uni. And everyone and everything kind of wants something for you, so you just have to make that decision and think of, what position do I want to be in and how will I get there, and what tough decisions do I have to make to get to that balance point. That was it. Best of luck to all of you starting uni soon, and I will see you in my next video.